Dr. Chuck Berg, author of Is Your Lifestyle Killing You? How to Chase Your Dreams Without Sacrificing Your Health and Your Sanity. Folks, I'm here today to build what I call a case for a new paradigm of healthcare. Yes, we have a current model, and come on, you know, I know, we watch television every day. We look at newscasts every day, magazines, webinars, teleseminars, television shows that all demonstrate what I refer to as a crumbling healthcare system. Maybe we can call it better health through better chemistry. Now, in all fairness, we're grateful for medication. We are grateful for the fact that in cases of acute crisis, we have the intervention of all of what modern medicine can handle. What we're here to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, are the majority of healthcare problems that we refer to as lifestyle illnesses. Read the books, Google lifestyle illnesses, and you will see for yourself how the vast majority of problems, the bulk of where healthcare dollars are spent in the arena of trying to take care of self-afflicted healthcare problems as a result of our personal choices. So here's what we've learned. Number one, the FDA, Big Pharma, Big Agra, these are huge corporations which, as far as I'm concerned, and most people believe, it is all about profits over patients. As one who is an advocate of natural health care, what I'm asking you today to listen to and see if you resonate is the understanding that if it is to be, it's up to me. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody holds a gun to our head on a daily basis. So therefore, my contention is, let's take an honest and introspective look at our daily choices, actions, and habits. Here's what I have found. If you were to allow me to film you for 72 hours, as well as you filming me, we can get a real interesting perspective of ourselves and have more clarity about why our lives are the way that they are. Whether that be from an emotional point of view, whether that be from an aesthetic point of view, a weight perspective. What I'm here to do is to try to help people. Ladies and gentlemen, I call it awakening, becoming more conscious to these daily choices, actions, and habits, because we have this amazing thing inside of us, this ego that is so protective that what it does is it allows us to lie to ourselves. And therefore, from my perspective, many of us are living lives that are very incongruent. What does that big fancy word mean? What I'm stating is that too often, what we verbalize, what we articulate, is very, very different from what we're living out. So about a year ago, I came up with what I call the Chuck Berg triune of truth. Well, it doesn't belong to me. It's just language that I've chosen to use. And what I've done is to take this huge, huge umbrella of lifestyle, which incorporates so many things, and break it down into the three fundamental units. It's called chunking something down. And I refer to the triune as align the spine, eat from the vine, calm the mind. And while in this introductory video, I'm not going to dive deep into each one of them, we'll create a more superficial understanding. But you know what, folks, if you resonate with this, if it makes any sense to you, if the words that I'm using touch you on some deep emotional or heartfelt level, then I invite you to explore the blogs that I have written and will continue to write. Please, in the future emails that come through, if you see that there's going to be a webinar or another video, I hope that you embrace it. No one makes a transformation overnight. For me, it has been almost a 40 decades of learning, of reading, of listening, of traveling around the country, listening to a lot of very interesting people who have different perspectives on life and living. Yeah, this was important to me. And I think what I'm trying to do is to help it become important to everybody in a world where we're chasing so many divergent things, and maybe that's the operative word. So, in my original title of my book, Is Your Lifestyle Killing You? What Are You Chasing and Why? Was a wonderful, intriguing statement or tagline, because when we stop and we introspect and we look at our lives in what I call the rear view mirror rather than the windshield. The windshield is easy. The rear view mirror gives us perspective. It makes us better understand what has taken place and some of the challenges and what they've meant. So going forward, if I can just give you a brief description of this triune, I think it makes a whole lot of sense. And once again, let it be something that if you resonate with it, follow me. If it doesn't, please just continue the path that you're on. There is no judgment in where I'm coming from, but rather I'm looking to lead a tribe of people who want to be healthier, happier in general. Happiness, by the way, is something that's elusive, folks. Don't try to chase it. You'll never get it. We never do. But it would be nice if more of our life could be at a more peaceful level rather than the level of anxiety of which so many of us find our lives, and it's no fun under those set of circumstances. I heard a statistic yesterday that blew my mind, and that is, in America, ladies and gentlemen, there are more suicides than there are homicides. Maybe that's a reason also that as far as prescriptive medications, do you know that the largest percentage of prescriptions that are written by physicians today are antidepressants? Now, if that's not a wake-up call to our current set of circumstances, I don't know what is. So, once again, align the spine. Simply being a chiropractor, it's more than just correcting vertebrae. Align the spine for me is keeping this human body in motion. Ladies and gentlemen, we were hunters and gatherers. That's the way the physiology of this body was meant to be. We were not meant to be sedentary human beings, which, by the way, today, based upon the Industrial Revolution leading to all of what technology has done, think about it. We get up, we sit down for breakfast, get into our car where we sit, to drive to our office where we sit. We then get up to get back into our car where we sit, to go to lunch where we sit, to get back into the car where we sit, to go back to work where we sit, to get back in the car to drive home, to go home to sit for dinner, and then at the end of the evening, to sit and watch some TV or get back onto the computer. Now that's an aha. When it's laid out that way, the perspective is so different. And yes, that's how most of our lives exist. Unless we get real conscious and recognize that, you know what? For the sake of my body, for the sake of my future, for the sake of my health, and for the sake of me being a model for my family, I need to make some changes. And that's what Chuck Berg and his Triune of Truth and the further blogs and the further messages going forward will help you to embrace. We don't make this transformation overnight, but please join me as we talk about what I think are really important things. It's your health and your well-being. It's what you want, but we're so busy being busy that we don't have a chance to focus on this. Secondly, to eat from the vine. Very simply put, you know, I know. We read about it. Genetically modified foods. In order for foods to have increased shelf life, they have to be altered, adulterated, and in some way added to with some sort of chemical or some sort of refinement, which oftentimes takes out the vital nutrients. It allows for shelf life. It helps the big agri companies get a lot of money, but it doesn't do well for this body. So simply put, we need to help people identify and create a more plant-based eating habit. Give people an understanding about how refined foods and excess sugar and white flour create havoc and create something called silent inflammation, that if you follow me, we'll explain more about this, to try to prevent this horrific condition called diabesity, which is something that we do have today, and it is permeating our nation, making America a sicker group of people than we've ever had before. And folks, doesn't it not make sense? We're a country that has more money, more hospitals, more doctors, and more technology than anywhere else, and yet we rank horribly in terms of overall health throughout the entire world. As a little boy from the Bronx, New York, I've got to say, hey, what's up with that? And finally, calming the mind. Folks, we have an illusion I had mentioned earlier about this thing called happiness. I don't know if it's our intention where we're supposed to be happy all of the time. As a human being, and from everything I've ever read, no, this doesn't exist. So don't create into this illusion of why am I not happier. The goal is for each of us to try to live a life where we can find something that we are passionate, excited about, and truly the game is about contribution. However, what we are taught, if we follow society's path, is that we've got to keep getting stuff. We've got to keep building ourselves. We have to keep getting a nicer thing, a bigger thing, a nicer car, a bigger home. And that's why I wrote, what are you chasing and why? Read the statistics, read the journals. There's no correlation between happiness and even earnings. Once we reach a certain point, and please, I'm here to tell you, dream big dreams, but not at the expense of your health and your sanity, and that's my observation of what's happening in our country. It's pervasive and it's everywhere. Also, creating expectations, failed expectations. We have to recognize, and I think that I tried very hard even with my own children to recognize, dream dreams, goal for your goals. However, understand that most things don't necessarily work out exactly as we had planned. So build the idea and build the muscle of being able to endure challenges and massive amounts of frustration. Because the reality is, that's what life is. Massive amounts of frustration. But if we can understand this to begin with, and we don't play the poor little unfortunate me game, then we will learn to cope better and deal with the enormity of the challenges and the complications that come by. Also, it's important to take a look at self-talk. You know, we become what we're around, we are what our environment is. And boy, so many of us, based upon how we were reared and how we were raised, we have a loop. In fact, we all have an incessant loop. And the purpose of my program going forward is to help us examine that loop. And why do we have the same thing going around? So the purpose of the Chuck Bird Triune of Truth is to try to help each of us metaphorically lift up the needle that's stuck in the groove of the vinyl record, where we go round and round we go. And the goal of my work is to help lift that needle, move it on to play a better song and a better music going forward. So folks, all I can ask is that if this message once again resonates with you, if listening to it makes you at least think. I am not here to preach a message, to tell anybody what to do with their lives. I just feel as though the 40 years of my life and the accumulation of enormous amounts of philosophy and wisdom has helped me through some very, very difficult challenges of my life. I've had personal problems, relationship problems, financial problems, the host of problems that people can have. I've participated in them. But I am so grateful for the wisdom. It's one of the chapters in my book, Wisdom in Advance of Crisis. Because without the wisdom, I don't know how I would have been able to cope as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I hope you can resonate with the message. And I invite you to follow me on this journey. I know one thing. I will feel blessed to know that others were touched by the messages that I've been able to share. And that is the intention of the Triune of Truth. Thank you.